Hello and welcome! I'm your host Gam, and in case you haven't surmised from the X6 ending footage, this is an LP of Megaman Zero the First. Now, we will be playing on normal difficulty during this run, but we will be adding a bit of a twist to it. Until then, though, enjoy the intro. Well, that was an interesting way to start the game. Quite action-packed. And in case you didn't notice, those guys back there were actually bleeding, which is a first for this series. Now, the blood was toned down a little from the original Japanese release, but its presence does show that this series is a little darker and edgier than the first Mega Man and the X series. And here's the title character. However, he's looking a bit run down from when he appeared in that ending footage from X6. You know, his arms ripped off and stuff, but let's hope he can get back to normal. Who are these guys, anyway? Oh, not gonna be that easy, huh? Well, what to do? All those guys back there died. I mean, you gotta do something, otherwise their deaths will be in vain. Oh dear, looks like they weren't gone. Eh. Ouch. You know, those guns of theirs are completely freaking useless. I mean, come on. And he's dead. Mylan, huh? Name drop. Not that we'll care. And who's the elf girl thing? So many questions, so few answers. Oh dear. Advancing Cycloptic Army of Doom. And Passy, I assume that's the elf. If they use her power, apparently she dies. But what else will we do? Nice uniforms, by the way. Oh dear. Elf girl's gonna die. We have such an emotional attachment to her at this point in the game. And there she goes. We will mourn you forever. Oh man, yes. And that is the beginning of this game. This, in case you aren't, you know, a fan of the Mega Man series, actually a remix of Zero's theme from the first X game. And, it's freaking awesome. When this game first came out, there was quite a bit of rejoicing over this one theme. But I'm going to switch to my main control scheme here, and get going. By the way, we picked that Buster up from the, guy that died back there. Just a little canonical fact. Now, those things, like what Passy was, are actually Cyber Elves, and it's a little unique thing of this series. They basically function as power-ups, however I won't be using any of them because using them actually deducts from your mission ranking, which this game does as well, it ranks you. These Cyber Elves can be found scattered around the environments, and are basically in two different places. One is in these white box things, one of which you saw back there right at the beginning, and they're usually pretty hidden. I mean, some better than others. And you destroy them and get whatever's in there. The others, like you just saw, are actually dropped by enemies. And this place looks suspicious. Where did she come from anyway? I mean, why didn't this lead back into the forest? Prehistoric. Apparently the definition of prehistoric has changed a bit in the future. Well, this is quite... I don't even know how long since the Mega Man series. I always get my timelines with the X series mixed up. And that was a bit too cheesy for me. Arm on a spring. She lied a bit there, by the way. You can actually damage and beat this guy with a buster. He's a golem. The thing is, it only does 1 damage at a time, so it's woefully inconvenient. Now, of course, you can hit CL here, and I don't think she can die, but each time you hit her, it deducts points from your final ranking, and I'll explain that once we get there. So, just attack it a few times while avoiding her. Rat. And what's this weird glowing atom thing? Oh, free Z-Saber. And then he leaves. You know, he could have just answered that question. Ah, whatever, let's pick it up and try this baby out. Holy crap, 1-hit kill. Yeah, it's not going to be that easy in the future. But, nice way to start it out. Boink! Mission completed. Now then, let's get back to the butt-kicking that Zero's best at. Uh-oh, I see where this is going. This game loves its ellipses, by the way. And yes, he has inconvenient amnesia. Or convenient, you know, for the plot. This actually translates into a bit of a gameplay mechanic. He's forgotten all his moves from the X series, like the triple slash and stuff. That's pretty much all. Because he also gets to charge his saber and his new buster in this game. Now, because he's forgotten these things, he has to relearn them. The way he does this is by gaining experience with them, a bit of an RPG element here. You gain experience by killing a certain number of enemies, like to be able to do a double slash, you might have to kill like 50 enemies with using the Z-Saber, stuff like that. Anyway, you'll see it when I level up. Oh, that's convenient. What's this green sludge, by the way? I want to get out of this. Well, let's take the transceiver out of here. And here's our mission results screen. It creates a couple things like the mission points, which are mission specific. In this case, it's not letting CL get damaged. There's the damage points, which are the number of damage, the amount of damage you take deducts points from that. Enemy score. Each level has a certain enemy requirement that you have to meet to get full points, stuff like that. Just a little note about this LP, and I mentioned how I was going to make it a little interesting earlier. I won't be getting hit once. At least not in the missions. I mean, I can't promise anything like when I go back just to show off random crap. But I will not be getting a single point within missions. You know. So have fun with that. Anyway, this here is the Resistance base. Exactly what it says on the tenants, the base for the Resistance. Who are going against... surprise, surprise... X, who is apparently still alive, and trying to retire, kill all the Reploids. The reason he does this is because there's currently an energy shortage going on in this weird society called Neo-Arcadia. Gotta add Neo to everything in the future. And, X decided that the Reploids were using up a bit too much of the humans' power, so they all gotta die. This is pretty much a rhetorical question, by the way. You have to say okay. Or, you know, you can't really progress in the game until you do. So now we can help the Resistance with their efforts against the humans. Kind of black and gray morality here. I mean, yeah, you're helping the Resistance who are being abused, but you have to go and, like, hurt the humans in order to do it. But before we do any missions, let's go and check out CL's own private chambers and her shower and steal her stuff. You can only actually get in here if you have an A or an S rank. So, you know, if that door doesn't open for you, do better. And don't use Cyber Elves because they're cheap. Nah, I'm kidding there. The game's hard. Use Cyber Elves if you need to. So our first mission is going in and blowing up a Reploid disposal factory. Thing. Yes. And yes, I do accept. And yes, I will save. And yes, I will show this mission off in the next part. See you then.